everyone, I'm Charlotte and welcome to a special episode of my first mini comic series versus my latest mini comic series. For those of you who are new here, I am Charlotte, I'm a digital artist and I'm working on a longer comic series, but this video is not about that. The piece you see on screen, the layout, is basically representative of my first comic series, mini comic series that I made back in 2022 when I had almost 0 to 10% of digital art skills compared to what I have now, hopefully today. But I hope you enjoy this video as it dwells into funny moments, how I was super chaotic but was determined to tell a story. Yes. I hope you enjoy this video, right? So let's get into the backstory of what's actually happening here. This first mini comic series that I made back in 2022 was actually a gift for my mentor. So he was getting married and I recently got my iPad, and so as a tribute to him and his wife, I wanted to make something that was special and that they'll remember. And at that point, I wanted to make a digital print of this, but I never did that. That's just sad, but that's what happened, by the way. So I ended up sending a digital copy to the both of them and being like, happy married life, guys. Which is so... And you know what? I remember my mentor's wife, shout out to you, Charlotte. I remember her replying on her wedding day, I think half an hour or 1 hour after I sent her. She must have been in the middle of hair and makeup and she saw this and she replied. I was so thankful. I was like, yes, my mentor chose right. It was such a sweet, wholesome moment. Anyways, the comic series in terms of digital art is not that great, right? It's just me trying to say something and do something. But at the end of the day, the purpose for this was to ensure that they got something that was well thought out and was intentional. And although my skill set, quote unquotes, are better, it reminds me of the purpose of why I got into digital art. It's not about how good you are at a skill, but rather about the intent and about the purpose of the skill itself. And that's the beauty of it. So this comic series, the first chapter, again quotes, was about how I met my mentor, and the second chapter is about how I met his wife and how she reacted, how she broke the news of the wedding to me as well, and she wanted to get connected with me. And I think the last chapter is wishing them a happy married life. It's a very personal anecdote to talk about how God united them, and in the process how I got to connect to a larger family through my mentor, and how now, I mean at that point in 2022, how his wife also got connected to that larger family. So it's very personal, but it conveys the story, okay? The drawing skills aren't that great, but that's the deal. The whole point of it is that it's relatable and it has a deeper purpose to it. And fun fact, oh, that panel reminded me of something. So my mentor's wife is actually my best friend's aunt. Let me break that down for you. Shout out to Karen as well. So my best friend's mom is the eldest of 5 siblings. And the youngest sister is the wife of my mentor. So that's the story. So that's why all of the how I met her, how I met him. I met my mentor Alanana in church, and yeah, so that's how everything happened. But that's the story for y'all. I hope it wasn't too recurring or it wasn't boring, but it's an adorable story. And I remember the first year I just went around telling people about how my best friend's aunt is married to my mentor, and that was like the highlight of my year. I'm not even joking because I didn't have much going on at that point. No, I will not reveal my age, but I was in a serious academic endeavor as well. So that was happening, but apart from that, yeah. Oh, turns out we moved on from that. Okay, so that was the end of that story. But I hope you got the point. The point of why I showed that and not just this comic series, this mini comic series, is because I wanted to tell the purpose of visual storytelling in itself is about getting the story out. It's not about your skill. That's about the craft in itself, and anything that you do in life, it should be about the intent and not about the skill. That's what I said at this point. I might totally correct myself in the future. But yes. That was also under a time crunch though. I think I worked on that for about 13 hours, all of the pages included. So this mini comic series was actually a project for one of my papers in my university, and this was on a short story, and the short story is called Doll's House by Catherine Mansfield, and it was a lovely short story, by the way. But yeah, we share the same name, so I was like, I must do her justice. No, that was not what happened. It was fun to explore because our professor wanted us to do a mini comic series or a documentary or something of that sort, and we chose, it was a group effort to write down the script, but then the paneling of it, I did it. So the second comic series was recent. It was 2024 September or something of that sort, as far as I know. Again, this was on a time crunch. All of the panels combined, I think it took about 2 days and about 9-10 hours. But as you can visibly see on screen, from the one in 2022 to the one in 2024, there is a lot of improvement. And if you've seen my previous videos, you know that it didn't happen overnight, but there were quite literally hundreds of pieces that were worked upon between these two mini comic series. But because of all of that hard work, it became easier to space this out and do this faster and tell the story visually seamlessly to some extent. And although because it was on a time crunch, again, I couldn't fully work on it like how my current comic series is going about, but it was there and the story is there, and that's all that mattered. Again, the purpose of visual storytelling is to convey the story itself, and it's not about the aesthetics. That's the main point I'm trying to make here, guys. That's one point. And also the fact that secondarily, mini projects like these help you to work on larger projects. When I look back on this project, it reminds me of the fact that, okay, we can pan out a story and tell it visually. It's not like we're incapable. It's just that the other one's taking longer because of perfectionism, and it's a larger storyline, and we want to ensure that the world building is set right. But making a mini comic series helps you to work on larger comic series. So I hope you make your mini comic series first before you make larger comic series, guys. Anyways, that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed this very personal story. I'll see you guys next time. You can follow me at Charlotte_Pourquoi. Bye!